Well, hello everybody, and welcome to your Calgary real estate market update for July, brought to you by Greenleaf Property Management. Let's kick things off by taking a look at available units. So this is the amount of inventory that's out there for renters to choose from across several different asset classes. So a few things that jump out to me from this data set is that basement suites, we're seeing a drawdown in available volume for that after having consistently high numbers for most of the last year. But we are starting to see some asset classes creep up again with available units as landlords bring their properties to market during the summer season. So a few mixed signals within the market right now, which is usually a sign that the market is going to trend one way or the other in the months to come. Lately, we've seen supply edging down a little bit, as you can see from the last few months. But now that we're through the busiest leasing time of the year, that might start to creep up. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next month to get a bit of an idea for that. Asking rents, however, are much more consistent. Not really seeing any major breaks from the trends that have been established for the last several months, other than the larger units continuing to command more money as people look for more space for their rental accommodation. So houses are creeping up just a little bit, but all of the other asset classes largely staying the same from where they were last month. Now, this is a good thing considering that we have a lot of rental supply hitting the market right now too. Lots of new buildings are coming onto market, and so that we're able to absorb those units and still have healthy asking rents is a good sign for landlords planning for their rental rates in the months and year to come here. Here's a quick table that sort of breaks it down. What I like about this is that tenants that are moving to Calgary have a lot of choice when it comes to where they want to be from a price perspective. You can be very affordable down with basement suites and then move all the way up to houses, and there's lots of inventory available for that. So progression opportunities for renters that are looking to call Calgary home. I think that's good news. Okay, let's jump in a little bit into some of the news here. There's some interesting things that have happened this month that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. Now, if you like news and you don't want to wait for my market updates every month, if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on social, I'll put my handles down in the comment below. Then you can get information on these things as it happens. I've been posting reels about this stuff, so if you're into that and want to hear my take on it as the news is happening, feel free to follow me for a little bit more insight as it's happening. Okay, so earlier this month, or rather earlier in June, there was a very large energy conference. The largest one in Canada was held here in Calgary, and it was good. We were getting lots of glaze out there from other countries and other energy industries, with everybody wanting more Canada. No one is saying that they want less of us, which I think is good news. We just need to get out of our own way here in Canada when it comes to approving energy projects, and it looks like we've had some good momentum with that as well. So looking into the spending and capital spending. So lots of economists are watching for how much money energy industry companies are putting into capital expenditures. And they're starting to see more and more of this as oil has maintained elevated pricing for most of this year. So this is a good trend to see with oil producers spending more money. Money being spent always translates to either more or higher paying jobs, which is great for rental landlords. It's always been that way in Alberta. So this is the stuff that we like to see making the headlines here. Now, here's something new. Is this concept of data centers. So, we're seeing more and more in the space of AI. Technology is just moving so quickly, and they need data centers to power this technological revolution that we're in right now. And then they need power to power these data centers. And this is what we've got for news here on this topic, where just outside of Edmonton, we've seen a power generation facility, natural gas powered, coupled with a data center development. And this has been approved by the Alberta government since this article here came out, which is fantastic news. A diversification of our customer base for our energy industry, because it's believed that Meta, the parent company of Facebook, was behind the data center and pushing for this to be built here in Alberta. So if majors like Meta are looking to Alberta to put down roots and power their technology, it's a great sign that we might see more and more developments of this nature in the years to come here. And then, yeah, we had a huge big day. So the $4.6 billion data center, which we just talked about, was also coupled with the news that everybody was excited to hear. This $35 billion pipeline proposal that has been agreed to and has been submitted to the federal government for consideration on their major projects list. It's widely anticipated that it will be granted that status to fast track the approval for it, and that we could see oil flowing in 2033 or 2034. What's interesting about this, I think this is a good bit of negotiating by Prime Minister Carney, is that he stayed away from the northwestern parts of the province for export of the oil. So away from the areas that have this tanker ban on them, and really just following a very similar alignment to what we have with the Trans Mountain pipeline already. But it's still going to mean another pipeline to transport a further 1 million barrels per day of Alberta oil out to the West Coast for shipping off to Asia markets. And what's interesting with this is that we do have some private industry signing on saying that they want to be a part of this. Pembina and Trans Mountain are both involved in this, and it could be that more companies come into the mix as the regulatory framework gets flushed out here in the months to come, and we should expect some answers around that, kind of around that October time frame. So really cool story there. And another cool one much closer to home, which is the Calgary Housing breaking ground on the Southview development, the largest affordable housing project in its history. So I think that this is fantastic news. You know, while there's talk of buying out condo developments in BC and bailing out developers, Calgary is not going that way. We're funding affordable housing initiatives here and building out real estate specifically for those who need it most. So this is fantastic, and it's three-way funding here from the province, the city, and the feds, each about a third, totaling just under $100 million for this project. And Alberta investing a further $9 billion to generate 25,000 units here by 2031. So nothing to be unhappy about with this development. I think it's really fantastic news. Okay, let's jump into the sales statistics here. And this is what we haven't seen for nearly 2 years, okay? So it's been 2 years since Calgary has had 5 months in a row with escalating prices, all right? This time last year, we were seeing prices starting to come down every month, and it was really depressing providing these market updates because it was bad news every month. Prices were always moving down, but now the opposite has become true. Really, since we turned the corner of the new year into January, we've seen prices start to work their way up for each of the last 5 months. Now, sales are cresting around this time, which is completely normal and completely expected with the seasonal nature that we have within our real estate market here. But that we've seen prices continue to be supported for the entire year so far, really. I think that's fantastic news and a sign of confident recovery here in our marketplace. Looking at months of supply, not a lot has changed here. Still very similar. We're in buyer's market territory overall at just over 3 months worth of supply. But you kind of have to look at it a little bit more closely to understand the dynamics of our market, because we really do have a decoupling of condo property and non-condo property. And you can see here apartment condos in the green line at the top, nearly 5 months worth of supply there. Row townhouse over almost 3.5 months worth of supply. But detached and semi-detached properties, so those that don't have condominium corporations or condo fees, those are right at balanced market territory at 2.5 months worth of supply. So good news here and consistency again, that we're not seeing wide changes in this. It's nice to see the condo market kind of leveling off after creeping up for so many months previously, and this is with lots of new buildings coming to market, both on the retail sales side for owner occupancy and also for rental development as well. And then if you'll take a look here, this is a slide that I like to look at to tell me a little bit about where I think the market is going, because as we were in a rough part of the market last year, you would see the sales to list price ratios widening, but then as we've been building up in our pricing, they've been narrowing. If you look over the last 4 months, that's been happening. But however, now we've got 2 months in a row here where they're tightening up and they're not really moving very much. So it would not surprise me if our streak is only 5 months long and prices start to kind of taper off here in the months leading ahead, because we're just not seeing the spread tightening up all the way up to that 99% across all asset classes that you typically see in a very solid, pronounced growth market. So we may have hit our peak for the year here. We'll have to see what July's numbers show for us here next year. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Again, if you want to follow me, please take a look in the comments for my handles. And I look forward to speaking with you guys again next month. Thanks very much.